It is evident that it takes the collaborative effort of multiple agencies, ministries, and organizations to manage the effects of COVID-19 and positively influence change towards the advancement of vulnerable families in the Caribbean. Our fantastic advocacy team has ascended to this challenge, utilizing their ability and experience to support families by staying up to date about all issues to improve programs and services for families. We understand and we are taking every step necessary to ensure families are provided with the necessary service and significant means of approach to assistance. Care Connection Advocacy will continue to reflect on what has worked and what unfortunately did not work in order to influence policy and practice towards greater improvement as it pertains to reducing the many issues plaguing families across the Caribbean. We are in this together and we will get through this together. United with sturdy foundations for interagency relationship amongst the health, housing, welfare, and Ministry of Education sector.
What are advocacy groups? Advocacy groups are non governmental interest groups that are formally organized and operate separate and distinct from government organizations. They play an important role in the development of internal and external strategies which are designed to put pressure on governmental powers to shift policies and practices towards humanitarian efforts, or in other words, towards helping those who are most vulnerable. Delmuth and Bloodgood 2019. What are interagency relationships? Interagency relationships are defined as the amalgamation of all child and family serving agencies and are reflected at the levels of governance and direct practice. Interagency relationships also extend from the public sector to private and faith-based sectors with the welfare of families at heart. These agencies work collaboratively in an effort to address the various complex needs of children and families. Through partnerships, agencies are able to provide a system of care and develop community spirit by identifying and meeting the immediate needs of the vulnerable.
Thank you, Cherise. The impact of advocacy groups and interagency collaboration. Collaborative efforts between interagencies, people, and organizations are proven to pose the potential to effectively address the multiple and complex issues families face on a daily basis, including poverty and homelessness. To abate such issues, these collaborative efforts operate by these components. Jurisdiction. This component supports the rules with the intention of maintaining order during collaboration by stating those eligible to make decisions, what actions are allowed and those that are constrained, as well as the type of information that needs to be provided to better facilitate and address the needs of the family. Shared information. When information is shared, it enables all participating agencies, people, and organizations to communicate and remain current on activities related to aiding vulnerable families. These activities include targeting those who are severely disadvantaged, outreach services and provision, development of partnership, and the evaluation of design strategies used to improve the outcome of these families. Now turn over to you, Keisha.
The importance of interagency relationships. The collaboration between interagencies is necessary and applicable for vulnerable families as they are usually affected by several multifaceted problems that are too challenging to be resolved by one agency, Australian Government 2011. Therefore, the importance of interagency relationships and advocacy support is necessary as they ensure that these families can access support more easily, thus eliminating the difficulty in finding a way through systems due to the absence of necessary resources such as transportation, finance, or the knowledge of where to go, what to do, and who to talk to. Why do we advocate? Care Connection is a group of educators from diverse backgrounds with the well being of the vulnerable at heart. We strive to stay informed about community, state, and the national issues to improve programs and services for families. We express our views and share our knowledge with the media, members of the community, and the government leaders to ignite change towards the betterment of the vulnerable in our society. These are the core values we have chosen to operate by. Family. As an advocacy group, we pride ourselves on being part of each family, sharing in their interests, goals, and aspirations as we empower them with assistance in essential areas. Empathy. We strive to understand the issues plaguing families so that we are better able to provide services that cater to their individual needs. Dependable. We always strive to listen to the needs and issues families are facing so that we can act efficiently to secure positive results, no matter how small. Respect. We see each family as important. Therefore, we take a stand against discrimination and endeavor to show respect to children and their families, regardless of their race, color, religion, and social standing. Trust. We believe strongly in building and maintaining trust with our families by keeping all shared information confidential. We also operate by a code of ethics and moral conduct to treat each family with loyalty, fidelity, and unimpaired principles. Hope. We look forward to new beginnings with confidence. We believe that hard work will be rewarded and our goals are achievable. Thank you. My colleague Daniela will continue.
Thank you, Keisha. Benefits of collaborative relationships to vulnerable families. Increase usage of services. Center for Community Child Health 2010, as stated in McDonald and Rosier 2011, noted that collaboration helps to increase the willingness of vulnerable families to access essential services without feeling stigmatized or judged. 2. Increase access to services. Collaborative relationships also help to break down organizational silos and service barriers by bringing services together using a streamlined approach and integrated service delivery. Strategy 3. Holistic service provision. This reduces the need for families to engage with multiple service providers and helps agencies and organizations working together to meet and respond to the needs of multiple families. 4. The provision of concise, consistent information. Collaboration among agencies, people, and organizations fosters the communication of pertinent information that families need and acts as a bridge between families and the demands of multiple agencies. And 5. Helps vulnerable families to be heard. Advocacy groups within these collaborative relationships use their outreach strategies to not only hear the concerns of vulnerable families, but to also give them a voice. The views and opinions shared sheds light on the areas that require immediate attention and provides opportunities for children and their families to receive the assistance that is needed to begin to improve their situations. Thank you. At this time, I'll turn over to Tanisha, who will be presenting on Trinidad and Tobago.
Thanks, Daniela. Here in Jamaica, we care for vulnerable families through some of the national programs, such as the Program of Advancement through Health and Education, which focus on students to encourage their involvement in school. The Early Stimulation Program supports children and families with disabilities through continuous workshop, counseling sessions, and family support groups. The National Council for Senior Citizens is there to support less fortunate elderly with meals. These interagencies are important to the survival of vulnerable families. Back to Cherise.
In Trinidad and Tobago, the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services, MSDFS, has the responsibility for management of the different social services for the country's people. They offer direction and give their proposed plans for the social sector by centering their attention on the use of interagency policy making, planning, and providing to the needs of the population. They ensure that all services provided by the many partners are internationally acceptable in terms of quality and are carried out in accordance with international standards and expectations. This ensures that the people of the nation are able to access world-class social services. Additionally, due to recent events and in light of economic challenges already being faced with predicted worsening and persistence of negative effects, the mandate of the ministry has a greater sense of urgency behind it. Vision 2030 has been created as the national development strategy in an effort to put the people first and to ensure the best level of social services. There are 5 main results or themes in relation to the vision. The first theme, the one we will focus on, is putting people first, nurturing our greatest asset. This theme shows that a well-supported and healthy society is important to the prosperity of the economy, maintainability, and peace. The supply of basic services are shown to be high up in the hierarchy of value, and a wide range of essential needs from areas such as health, education, and housing are underscored as areas of importance. Some of the areas addressed will be: the society will be based on the principles of social justice, the family will be sustained and looked after, and the delivery of social services will be developed in an effort to better serve the needs of all at-risk members of society. Finally, the plan also addresses the commitment of the country to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal (SDGs) with respect to Goals 1, 2, 8, and 10. Government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago 2021.
Thank you, Cherise. Interagency collaboration in the country of Barbados operates at an operational level where government ministries and agencies are able to evaluate and implement systems that are efficient to ensure that resources and personnel are used effectively. As it pertains to aiding vulnerable families, the Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs uses the ISEE Bridge model in an effort to reduce poverty, aid those with disabilities, and care for the elderly in the island. How is this achieved? The ISEE Bridge program is a poverty alleviation and reduction program involving several ministries and agencies with a goal of transforming those in poverty and vulnerable families using these 4 strategies. Strategy 1. Identification. At this first stage, social workers are deployed to investigate and assess the needs of these families, particularly those exhibiting signs of intergenerational poverty, those with vulnerable members including children, those with disabilities, and the elderly, as well as households where multiple family members reside and the head is single, underemployed, or unemployed. Strategy 2. Stabilization. This is the second stage where the immediate needs of the poor and vulnerable are addressed. All information is transferred to the welfare department and families are assisted financially with food or other resources. Strategy 3 and 4, enablement and empowerment, is where the ministry seeks to impart survival skills by partnering with other agencies, including financial institutions, counseling services, educational facilities, and the welfare department, to empower households to succeed in society via furthered education or retooling of skills to generate a meaningful income. With the collaborative efforts of government ministries, non-governmental and private organizations, and interagency relationships, the country of Barbados hopes to strengthen human and social development, reduce poverty, and decrease vulnerability. At this time, I'll turn over to Afia, who will be presenting the conclusion. Thank you.
Okay. Without a doubt, the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the global economy on a very large scale, resulting in innumerable direct and indirect issues of health, social, emotional, and educational effects as families and their children face homelessness, job loss, hunger, depression, and anxiety. The duration of the pandemic is uncertain, and the well-being of families is at risk. Therefore, it is unquestionably important that they are not further disadvantaged. Hence, we advocate for interagency relationships between sectors such as health services, the housing sector, welfare departments, and the Ministry of Education to cushion the effects of this pandemic. It has been grounded in Brunfels-Brunner's historic bioecological hypothesis that children's growth is affected by overlapping and joint levels of impact, expanding from each child's factors through the family and other significant people, such as peers, to the more extensive society. Also, it has been acknowledged that the most deprived kids in families confronting various dangers are the most commonly to have poor end results. Various and diverse possibilities are to be expected to be noticeable at several levels of influence at the same time. For example, individual, family, and environmental living situations. And to intervene efficiently, services are required to be provided at every one of the required levels, which will be scaled most successfully by interagency working.